Hey, this is Asha. Thanks for joining me in this video. And what I want to share with you today is why the wealthy don't just simply have a bunch of cash lying around. So they keep their money elsewhere. Stay tuned. I'm going to share with you this insight. All right, so if you're looking to grow your wealth and grow your money, you need to understand how money grows, or how it actually doesn't grow, how it actually can work against you. And that is the concept of inflation. So if you look at inflation and what it is, here's inflation. It's basically a rise of prices. Price inflates, and rising prices. So in the past, where tomato might have cost 20 cents, now it costs $1. Avocados maybe cost 20 cents, now it's going to be $2. So with time, inflation continues to grow and grow. And you've had hyperinflation over the years. Hyperinflation in Hungary was one of the worst, where you can see, you have to buy, people just using their money in order to burn and heat their stoves because it's just not worth anything. You have to go and do a barrel of or a bucket of cash just to be able to buy a loaf of bread in the billions. So that's really what inflation is. It's kind of like house prices where they're $20,000 for the same house, and then eventually that same house is $1 million in the downtown. So from the 30s to maybe 100 years later, that's just inflation. It just grows with time. Now, typically the Fed estimates inflation at about 2%, but if you're keeping your everything in cash, in money, eventually that just really becomes worth less and less and less. So what is it that the wealthy people do? Well, wealthy people, what they realize and recognize is that they look at these notes, and yes, it's backwards for you, they look at these notes, that they're really actually not just a way to, hey, buy things. Okay, most people, when they're going in and they get cash or they get money, they look at it as a way to spend or purchase things. And really, money is a tool. And the wealthy people, they look at it as a working tool, a way to work and use it to make money, kind of like a worker, an employee. Every single dollar or penny, for that matter, is an employee to you to be able to make you more money. Looking at some of the richest people in the world, if you look at Jeff Bezos, he owns about 11% stake in Amazon at the current time, and that's quite a lot when it comes to when you cash it out. That's quite a lot in terms of the billions of dollars. Elon Musk owns about 170 million shares of Tesla. It's about $137 billion. And when you look at Bill Gates, his portfolio, they own about 50 million shares of Berkshire Hathaway, Waste Management, 2.12 billion, Canadian National Railway Company, 1.54 billion. So you can see it's all diversified. So that's what I want you to start thinking about, is they typically keep their money elsewhere. And when you look at this from the regular person, most people, when they go in and they have their cash, let's say this is your net worth. Well, for a lot of people, what they do is their investment bucket is something like this. It's very small, and 80% or even 90% of their money and holdings is for spending. That is kind of their net worth. It's probably more like in the bank, sitting at home, or maybe it's under the mattress. But a lot of that is for spending, and maybe invested is a small little chunk. Okay, invested. Okay, and when you look at the wealthy, it's actually quite the opposite. The majority of money is actually invested. So a lot of it is tied into things like companies, corporations, intellectual property. So those types of things. And of course, they do have a lot more cash, just because living expenses are much more for them. But I'm saying, in terms of a percentage basis, their main focus is to take that cash and money and put it back into investing, because that cash and money continues to work for them. Whereas a lot of general people, they go ahead and look at money as a way to spend money. Whereas the wealthy, they're looking at it as an investment tool. So that's kind of the big difference. Now, one of the main reasons for this, I believe, and I think, is because, just people that are making less money, they need more cash available to be able to use it, to be able to pay for food, groceries, electricity, you name it, internet bills. So you just need more free cash flow, just because the percentage that you go towards living expenses is much higher. Because as far as the wealthy go, they might buy a very expensive house or mansion, and then the electricity, the heating costs, and all that is still much more expensive. But the reality is when you go buy a loaf of bread, it's still the same. When you go get groceries, it's still the same. Now they might pay for a private chef, but that's a whole different ballgame. The point is living expenses for a regular person it's expensive in terms of a percentage basis than it is for someone who's wealthy, because the costs are still, proportional to what you own, what you have, and your usability within your lifestyle. So my point being is that when you're looking at the cash that you have available, the more that you can put away into things like this, investments, things that make you money, whether it's stock investments or real estate investments or gold coins or stamps, whatever investment you want to put into, but we're someplace where money can continue to grow. By the way, if you're interested in checking out more on stock investments, check out my channel, Traders Fly, on YouTube as well, and you can learn a lot more about stock and option investing here. But when you're really looking at putting your money to work, you'll get much more in return. It allows that money to keep compounding and growing for the future. And that's ultimately what you want to do. You want to go ahead and use this cash as a tool to continue to grow and build wealth. Yes, at the beginning you might be slow. You might be making a small return. If, let's say, you only have $5,000 to put in, and maybe you're making a little bit, and it doesn't seem like it would affect you that much because it's maybe only going to pay an extra couple $100s for you per year. But with time, that continues to work in your favor, and it helps build the growth. It just eases that burden just a little bit. So think of that mindset, shift it a little bit more to using money much more as a tool rather than using it as, hey, it's a way to spend money. You look at it to invest and think of it like a working bee for you, like an employee that's able to go to work and make you more money. Anyways, thanks for joining me in this video. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, feel free to subscribe to the channel or check out more great videos on this channel and on the website.